Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be doing a blue holiday look. It'll be good for parties, going out, or an everyday look. Whatever you want, darling. And I broke out the bling for this special occasion. But before we get started, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm first gonna start off with doing my eyebrows. Let's get this hair back. We're getting down to business. All right, so we're first gonna start off with our eyebrows and then eyes and then do the rest of the face. First things first, we're gonna take a spoolie, brush our eyebrows out to make sure we have it laid out the way we want it to. Next, I'm going to go in with Brow by Benefit in the color 5. So I'm first going to start off by doing hair-like strokes towards the end of the brow and get the length I want on the outside and then work my way back in. So I'm going to start at the bottom and just kind of fill in where it's really sparse. Since my eyebrows are already pretty thick, I don't need to be doing too much to them besides just lining them out a little bit and then filling in the sparse areas and taming them down. I'm gonna drag the tail out just a little bit for this look. Now I'm gonna go in with the first half of my eyebrow and just line the bottom a little bit. And then again, go in with hair-like strokes to the front of the brow. You want to make sure that you don't keep dipping it in. Once you go to the inner corner, it'll also be too heavy, and you want the inner corner to be a little bit lighter, so it goes from light to dark. Next, you're going to go in with the spoolie again and then blend it all out and get the hair back to where you want it. Now we'll hurry up and do the other eyebrows so we can get on to the eyelid. So now I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the color Light Medium Honey. It doesn't matter what color you use as long as it's lighter than the skin tone that you have, lighter than your foundation. So we're going to use this as a base for our eyeshadow to make sure our pigment really stands out and we get the most use out of the eyeshadows we are using. Alright, so now to start off, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take a small flat brush and start with the under eye and work our way out to the brow to get the right shape that we want. So we're first going to start off with the Urban Decay by Kristen Leanne eyeshadow palette, and we're going to start off by using LCW's A Light Shimmery Blue. So I'm going to lightly take that color and start from the middle of my eye on the bottom and work my way out to create that shape that I want. By doing this, it's a lot easier and saves a lot of time, and it gives you a good guideline of how you want to work with the rest of your eyeshadow look. Making sure you follow that curve and just finishing out how it would be if it kept going. And you want to meet up to the tip of your eyebrow. You don't want to go down any further than that. You'll make it look a lot more down, and we want our face to be lifted. So now we have a good guideline on this side. We're going to try to match it on the other side, which is really hard. Alright, so I think I got them to match pretty well, but we'll see. Now I'm going to take the Urban Decay De-Slick Mattifying Powder so it is able to mix well and blend out the way we want it to. So we'll set that with a fluffy brush just to get the product on there. Alright, so now we're going to go in with the same fluffy brush we used to put on the powder. So we're going to go in with that same color LCW that we used to make the guideline for the angle we want. And we're going to work this into the crease and up towards the brow. And we're just going to blend it out to that guideline. When working with bold colors like this, it's really easy to grab too much product right away. You want to make sure you grab a little bit of product and then you can build from that. But it's always hard to come back from adding too much product in the first place. And another key key to this is once you pick up product on your brush and start blending it out, it's a good way to just start blending out as much as you can until you can tell that there's not a lot of product left to blend out. So that's when you go back in and start to add more, and then you just repeat the same process. Go in and actually meet the eyeshadow with the eyebrow just in the front area, but leave a little bit of a line towards the outer edge. Alright, so now we're going to take a smaller fluffy brush and use that to go into our next color. So the next color we're going to use is a color from the KKW by Mario eyeshadow palette. And we're going to dip into that blue shade called Albanian. So now we're going to use a wide flat brush to pick up our next color. This one is a little bit bigger than the one we used before to make that guideline. So by using a flat brush like this, it's a lot easier to make the eyeshadow a lot more compact, and you get a lot more buildup of the product to make sure that color really shows through. So we're going to take a decent amount of that blue color and we're just going to apply it over the eyelid. Now I've used this blue color before and the best results I got from it was actually using my finger. So I'm just going to put down a base layer of it with the brush, and then I'm going to go back in and use my finger to get the most pigment I can out of it. And so what we're also going to do with it is follow that guideline we made before and work our way up with it, not all the way to the tip of the eyebrow, but just about 3/4 of the way. Sure, let's go with that. And just kind of blend that in a little bit. Also for this blue shade, I'm not going to follow the crease of my eye all the way down to the guideline. Towards the end, I'm going to actually go up past my crease to meet where I blended it in with the other blue color. So that was like 3/4 of the way up, like I said before. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with my finger and then get that pigment a little better. Since you can't be really precise with your finger, I'm not going to worry about going all the way out to that guideline I set. I'm just going to mostly focus it on the eyelid itself. So that's looking a lot better. Now I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush than what we used before, and I'm going to use that same blue color from the KKW Mario palette just to blend in that color and the lighter blue that we used before, just to get a seamless look. I'm going to go back in with that lighter blue we used in the beginning from the Urban Decay palette and just keep going back and forth with blending just to make sure it's all blended out and until I'm satisfied. Alright, so now we're going to go in with that same bigger flat brush that we used to dip into the KKW palette, and we're actually going to take the dark blue shade from the Urban Decay palette called TRM. We're going to do basically the same premise we did when applying this darker blue we already have on, and we're just going to keep it more concentrated toward our lashes. And so it's going to be the same shape. We're still going to go out towards the guideline that we set already. We're going to start in small and then get a little bit larger. Instead of going 3/4 up like we did with that darker blue, we're going to go maybe half the way or like a third of the way, but just to create that gradient ombre looking eyeshadow look. So the key for this is starting on the outer corner, figure out how far you want to go up, and then working your way back in. So start big and then go in small. that second smaller fluffy brush we used before, go back into that KKW palette, pull out that blue, and then we're gonna blend that blue with the darker blue that we just used. Again, do the same thing we did before when we reapplied that lighter blue, just to get that seamless ombre look. And then once we get towards the end like we are now, it's okay to keep going back to all these colors and reapplying to make sure you get the most pigment you can out of it and to make sure you get the right look. It doesn't have to be done, you know, 1, 2, 3 steps. It could take like 50 times before you actually get it right. But that's okay because we are making art. So now that's what I'm gonna do, is just keep going back and forth with all these colors to make sure I get it how I like it. Now I got the top of the eye look how I want it mostly. We're going to go back to it and actually add some black. But for now, we're going to work on the bottom part of the eye look. I'm first going to take a fluffy brush and kind of wipe away the product that's been building up on my cheeks, which created this. So when doing looks like these, it's a good idea to do the eyes first and then the face last, as you can see. So what we're going to do now is basically the same premise that we did on the top of the eye look. Start with the light blue, then work in those deeper tones and work those up towards our eyelash line. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of concealer underneath the eye to make sure that product really grabs onto it and won't move. So we're just going to keep working that in and blending it out with that guideline that we set. So it's okay if we go outside the guideline a little bit. We just have to make sure that we keep the same angle that we had it before to make sure it stays up and keep our eyes lifted. Now we're going to take that bigger fluffy brush that we used originally for that KKW color for our eyelid, and we're going to put it on our bottom lash line, this time not going as far down as the light blue, and this time we're going to take the tip of it and not use the flat edge. Now we're going to go in with a tiny flat brush. So this one we're going to use that dark blue shade from the Urban Decay palette. We're going to do the same thing, go in a little bit tighter to the eyelash line and blend it out to the top. Now we're going to go in and use a little bit of black. So we're going to take that same tiny flat brush that we used just now. We're going to dip back into the Urban Decay palette and use the 13th Floor Black. So again, we're going to use the tip of the brush. We're going to tightline the top and bottom eyelash line. Use eyeliner is because I don't want there to be a harsh black line. I just want it to get dark and still be blended in with the rest of the blues. So now I'm going to take a small taper brush and use it as the highlight underneath my brow bone. And I'm going to take that Leo color and just add a little bit underneath the brow where we left that space on the outer half of the brow. So now that I'm done with the eyeshadow, I'm going to add some mascara. So I'll be using the Maybelline New York Lash Sensational Full Fan Effect, and it's a waterproof mascara. So I like using this one because it gives you a very full eyelash. I don't like using fake eyelashes right now, also because I don't know how to use them yet. So this is a good alternative that I found. Now I'm going to do the rest of my face off camera. I will see you soon. So here is the final look. I paired it off with a nude lip with some gloss over it. I had so much fun doing it. I can't wait to do more holiday looks for you guys. But before I sign off, make sure you like this video, give it the good thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Till next time.